we can be here together and practice in this beautiful way. So thank you for joining me here on the live, on the video replay, or coming to these classes over and over again as I go and check the YouTube studio. I can see that you guys are coming back to these practices and really integrate them into your lives. So nothing makes me feel more warm and cozy throughout the insides and the outsides of my being than sharing these practices with you. So today's practice is about staying positive and moving again in this sacred way, and how this actually creates the oxytocin, the way that we can start to feel really, really happy again as well. So we're going to start with Durga breath, and this is a way that we can start to connect and unify all of the energies within the body, and then even connecting these energetic centers of the belly, the heart, and then also the mind, right? So coming into a comfortable seated position that works best for you. I've got half lotus here, that's with one foot on top. You can also explore, see if full lotus by taking both feet on top of the legs works for you, or exploring into a seated position that helps. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read the chat there. I cannot see it. I'm so sorry. If there's an issue, just maybe keep chatting and then we can stop the video and we can sort this out. So thank you very much for letting me know. Hopefully you can hear me fine, see me fine. So back to this comfortable seat where we can start to, again, feel the flow of breath. Let's start to direct our attention into the breath and starting to feel the in movement, the out movement of the breath, and maybe even on the in breath, drawing awareness down into the belly brain, and feeling how it moves through these energy centers. So feel as though the breath is coming in through the crown of the head, and as you breathe in, coming down through the heart, and then into the belly, and then as you're breathing out, this breath floats from the belly back up through the body and out through the crown of the head. So let's try about 5-6 rounds of breath this way, closing the eyes, coming into this mindful place within you. Maybe even welcoming a mudra of the hands resting on knees, palms facing up, and the first finger and the thumb connected. And starting to watch and breathe in this gentle awareness, unifying mind, heart, and belly. And without directing a change to the breath, starting to notice how the subtle change starts to shift as we bring our awareness to the breath and this breathing body and these energy centers within us. So if you've found your rounds of breath, allow your eyes to open, allow all feelings to come back into whatever is present here in your experiencing. Noticing how this gentle pranayama gives this little subtle shift of the energy. So let's also welcome in victory breath. I love this. This is engaging the energy of the belly, engaging the energy of the heart, and then also requiring the attentive focus of the mind. And it's that short a longer inhale and short exhale. So it's like a pulsing of the belly. It looks kind of like this. So short blasts of air through the nose, through the exhalation. We're also going to invite a mudra, inviting the arms to rise up in this V shape. And then the fingertips come into the palms very gently. And then we turn so that the thumbs come in together. So we're going to do maybe about 30 seconds of Kapala breathing in this position. So find the length of the arms. Find the full expression of this mudra, of this posture, and then welcoming in this breath. and continuing the breath for as long as you need to, taking inhalations as needed, and then continuing back to the pulsation of the exhalations. Finding fire within the belly and also closing eyes. Feel into all the movement of energies that happen within this practice. Keep continuing for a few more seconds. And then let's all find a deep breath in. Bring the thumbs together. Bring the gaze up, holding this breath. And when you're ready to exhale, allow everything to be released. Hands float down to the sides as breath releases out. Find your center for a few breaths here as all the sensations begin to float down to the surface. Feel that downward movement of energy, downward flow of prana. And before you open the eyes, allow a little smile to come across the lips, and we'll greet each other again. Maybe even taking my hands here into the mudra of namaste, right? This lighting up of the heart space and acknowledging all that is flowing with life. Let's come up to standing. I'm going to take my socks off. It's a little chilly here this morning. I took my sweater off just one moment before the camera rolled. So let's arrive here into the place of mountain stance. Starting to notice where you can start to align the body, and maybe even connecting all of these energies by stacking them on top of one another. Maybe a little drawing in of the tailbone, a little drawing in of the pelvis, or even a drawing in through the abdominal muscles. Start to rise through the crown of the head as you gently start to allow the feet to receive the earth. So feel as though the feet are reaching down through roots, and also the earth is rising up through the base of your feet. Take a breath in and sweep the arms out to the sides, nice and tall. Let's even take ourselves up onto the balls of the feet, lifting through the heels. Exhale, back down, moving heels back down to the floor. Try this 2 more times. Inhale, sweeping up, lifting up through the heels if you wish. Exhale, floating back down. Last round, lifting all the way up, maybe even bending the knees as the heels are lifted. Exhale, maybe coming back down, dropping heels, maybe the heart folds forward. Wherever you are, allow everything start to move downward. Feel that downward energy of prana. And maybe a little movement back and forth, or forward and back. Starting to gently lift the heels, lift the toes. Try this for 2 more breaths here. Arriving, exhaling. Feeling the breath, feeling the movement of the body, and then coming into stillness for 1 full breath. Let's walk our hands forward, arrive into a plank. Plank can also be done with 1 knee down if you need to, both knees down if you need to, or find a version that works best for you. Allow that body to come into a straight line, allow those heels to be lifted, and allow the balls of the feet to take some of the weight, maybe even pressing back through heels. Notice if you can stay here for another breath or 2, or maybe even coming into a 1-legged version if you choose. Let's reach back into a downward facing dog, both feet to the floor. Take a round of breath here. Rolling over onto the balls of the feet again, heels pressing out, coming back into a plank. Or maybe a one-legged version on the other side now. Take a round of breath wherever you are, knees to the floor, knees lifted. Allow that back body to create a straight line. Let's allow both feet to come to the floor as you come back into your downward facing dog. Arrive in a breath or two. Option to keep both feet to the floor or raise a leg up and come into a raised version of this downward facing dog. Breathe. Whatever way you can get this right foot forward, allow it to come in between the hands. Find both palms to the floor. Find where this body can make this straight line again from heel to crown and arrive into this breath. Wonderful job. Let's extend it back to downward facing dog. Maybe the leg is lifted. Maybe it comes down to the floor. Maybe you need to take a couple of steps to get there. Wherever you are, take a breath and arrive. Let's allow that foot to slowly come down to the mat. If you've lifted it, come back into a plank that works for you. One breath. Extend it back into your downward facing dog again. Maybe you stay here with both feet on the floor. Maybe the other foot lifts. Take a breath wherever you are. Allowing this foot to move forward in between the hands, just like we did on the other side. Any way that you can get there, and then arrive. Taking a round of breath, creating this straight line with the body. Wonderful way to create our positive self. Start to extend back. Allow that leg to lift if you are joining us in this practice today, or maybe both feet come to the floor, maybe both knees come to the floor. Find into what works for you. Let's allow ourselves to move back into this plank. Take a breath here. Choosing either chaturanga by holding the elbows into the sides and dropping the body, or drop the knees into the center. Allow the heart to open and lift. Give yourself a little wiggle side to side, dropping one hip into the center or down to the side, and then the other side. Take a breath here in the middle. Feel where that chest can pull up. Feel that heart opening. Wonderful job, guys. Let's tuck those toes, extend ourselves back into a table or into a downward facing dog. 2 rounds of breath. Find that right foot again, bringing it in between the hands, palms to the floor. Let's roll that left foot out, lift the upper body, extend yourselves into a warrior 2. Take a breath here when you arrive. Reverse it back. Little beauty. Maybe that hand slides back behind the back body, maybe fingertips reaching towards that right thigh. Maybe you find this option with the hand along the back leg a little more comfortable, or coming into this dancer version of sweeping the left arm across the front of the body, reaching towards the, almost like it's reaching towards the right side of the rib cage. Taking a breath. You guys are superstars. Invite a smile to come to your face as we transfer back down to downward facing dog. Make your movement slow, mindful, body releasing. Round of breath here. Let's try and explore how it feels on the other side. Sweeping that left foot forward, placing both palms down to the ground, creating that straight line with the body. Take a breath whenever you arrive. It floated out to our warrior 2 by floating that right foot out to the outer edge, lifting up through the body, finding that wide arm stance, wide hips, breathing nice full long breaths. And then taking your reverse shape in any way you choose. Maybe it's the hand along the back leg. Maybe it's sweeping that arm across the back of the body, reaching towards the front of the mat, or maybe towards the left thigh. Or maybe it's where this hand comes across the front of the body, reaching forward. Take one more breath wherever you arrive. Excellent job, guys. Come wide into your warrior two. Let's take our windmill down to the floor, back into a downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths when you arrive. Coming forward into a plank that works for you. Remember creating that straight line with the body. Allow the heels to press out behind you. Let's drop both hips down into the middle. Let's go nice and slow. Allow those arms to be straight. Open up the heart. Feel as though the heart is peeling back. Allow those hips to rise. Arrive into a tabletop and then slowly taking the hips back down, coming into a child's pose. 2 breaths here. Fold yourself back up nice and slow, soft kitty into a table. Drop the belly, happy cow jumping over the moon, gaze lifts up. And then one more round of cat cow, allowing the body to make this soft kitty shape. And then a happy cow jumping over the moon. Option to stay here or come back into a downward facing dog, stretching through our wrist today, allowing that back body to open. A breath here. Let's drop the left knee into the center. Allow the right foot to roll out, coming into this supported side plank. Take a breath here when you arrive. And then allow that right foot to extend out as the upper body moves up into this gate pose. Take a breath here. Wonderful. Let's windmill ourselves back down into our downward facing dog. Nice and slow, gentle movements. 1 full breath when you arrive. Finding that right knee, dropping that right knee down. Left foot rolls out to the side. Let's come into this supported side plank pose. Breath flowing in, breath flowing out. Great job, guys. Shoulders stacking on each other, and then we allow that leg to start to move out. That's where we create this space for this upper body to become light as feather, lifting up and then coming into, it's almost like a supported warrior two, right? Taking a breath here, and exhaling it out. Wonderful. Maybe let's invite a little stretch here and then floating it back down into our table. Let's make it nice and gentle here. Take a couple of hulas when you arrive. And a couple hulas in the opposite direction. Excellent. Let's come into the center and allow both knees to walk over to the left side of our mat so that we can come down to the right hip. Roll ourselves over, coming down now to the back body. Nice and gentle. So maybe even inviting a little bit of a core stretch here. So coming onto the soles of the feet, the knees lifted, and then engaging the muscles through the abdominal and allowing the whole body to float down to the mat as best as you can. Maybe taking hands up over top of the body when you arrived. And let's take the soles of the feet together and the knees out. So allow the breath to float in, breath to float out. Arms reaching above you. Imagine as though the sun is filling up this heart space, lighting you up. Take 3 breaths, filling yourself with this light and energy of the sun. Filling yourself up with this warm positivity. One more breath here. And then allow the knees to come together. And then float both knees over to one side as now you adjust the arms, finding into a shape that works for you for this twist. So allow the knees floated over to the right side, the left arm comes out. Reverse it if your knees are over on the left side. And there's a little adjustment that we can do. We can allow the knees to move up or down to find into where we need that stretch through the back body, through the spine. Find into the places that your body needs for you today. Start to send breath and gentle kindness to any spaces along the spine that might be tight. Notice how you can soften and let go with the exhalations. One more breath here. And then we'll find a shape that works for us on the other side as we take the knees over to the left. The right arm stretches out. Maybe the gaze floats over to that side. Maybe it doesn't. Notice what your neck needs today. Find into that spot where your knees can start to stretch into that spine. Allow yourself to arrive here, taking slow, deep breaths. One more breath here. Noticing where you can soften or let go, breathing into any tight spaces, filling yourself with positivity, loving kindness. And let's move our bodies back into the center, bringing feet to the floor, heels drawing in towards the buttocks. Allow the shoulders to make some adjustments away from the ears and turn so that the palms now face down. Start to press through both feet, allowing hips to lift, coming into a bridge that works for you. Taking 2, 3, 4 breaths when you arrive. Fill that belly up. Feel that energy within the belly. Feel how as you breathe out, it moves into the heart space. Maybe even sensing into air or space at the crown, or maybe just above the tip of the head. A few more breaths here, holding your bridge pose. Maybe there's some space where you can come a little higher now. I'm going to move my tea out of the way so I don't knock it over. So from here, option to stay into this bridge pose, option to come out of bridge pose, or if you'd like to deepen into it a little bit further, bringing the elbows to the floor, drawing the elbows as close as you can together, and the hands placing a little shelf for the hips. Option to stay here, or lift the feet off the floor. Coming into a half shoulder stand, or if you're interested, maybe the feet can come to the floor, coming into a plow. So choose your own adventure here for your practice. One full breath wherever you are. And to come out of it, draw the knees in towards the chest and then slowly roll yourself. And I like to roll myself back up to seated. So let's close out this practice today back into the seated position just as we started the practice. Maybe connecting hands on the belly, maybe over the heart, over the belly. Maybe even covering the eyes. Start to move your awareness into the breath and this breathing body. Feel yourself holding yourself here with this love support. Love and support, or loving support. And deepen into the inhalations, the exhalation, unifying this column of energy from mind, heart, and belly. If you are working with a sankalpa or an intention, allow it to be here into this practice today. And if you're not, rest back with the sweetness of no intention. Loka, 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 loka. Samasta. Sukhino bhavantu. May you have a lovely day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for practicing with me. Thank you for creating this positive energy today. And may this positivity be filled throughout your entire day. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys. Namaste, take care. Bye. I don't want to move. I want more yoga.